Hey guys, welcome to my Let's Play Genshin Impact series Back to Square One. Be it story, exploration, combat, or quest, this series serves to assimilate new players into the game using a veteran's point of view to offer guidance that can not only help you quickly advance in Genshin, but introduce some tips and tricks that will help you throughout the game without spoiling the fun of exploring Teyvat and its lore. Enjoy!
Like, comment, subscribe.
Alright, welcome to episode 1 of my Genshin Impact Let's Play series Back to Square One. Okay, so in this episode, we'll unlock all the statues or the teleport waypoints and dungeons, as many as we can, get as many Anemoculi as we can, and then finally get to AR12 to unlock the daily commissions, and then we will spend our resin, complete the daily commissions, and of course at the end of the video, we'll use up some of our free wishes to get some new characters. Alright, so actually episode 1 is a bit pre-recorded. That means it's not exactly me actually voicing over as I play. Mainly because actually in your first day of Genshin Impact, there's a lot of things you want to do, and I spent an entire day doing all these things. So I couldn't voice over them because I had to cut out too many parts. So I decided to make a more concise clip because I don't want my Let's Play episodes to be too long, because I do have to cover quite a lot of content in each episode. So I don't want it to be too draggy, hence the voiceover for episode 1 especially. So episode 1 is about your first day of playing Genshin Impact. So once you complete the tutorial, basically the tutorial is very guided, so I wouldn't go through the tutorial. Also, I don't want to spoil it for you guys, the fun of exploring. So the very first quest in Genshin actually ease your character, your main character, whether it's Aether or Lumin, into Mondstadt city. So I won't delve too much into it, but after you get into the city, the very first thing you want to do, which the game doesn't tell you, is to unlock both the teleport waypoints in Mondstadt city. Alright, so once you enter the city, right, you can actually see one of the teleport waypoints on top of the stairs. You just climb out a little bit. That's one of them. And then another one, I'll just bring you guys there. So it's actually here, on top of this building known as the Knights of Favonius HQ. Yeah, so because you start off with very low stamina, so you want to conserve your stamina during climbing, so you wouldn't want to jump as much during the climbing. Also, if you see any ledges, you can actually just chill on the ledge to restore your stamina. I'm sure you guys will get a hang of it eventually. So once we are done unlocking the teleport waypoints, right, we can actually go through the important NPCs in Mondstadt city, because Mondstadt is, I mean, it's not a big city, but then when you just first started playing Genshin, it might have a lot of stuff that's like distracting. So you want to like really zoom into what's important. So the two NPCs you want to be concerned with at the moment is the Catherine NPC. So Catherine is the one that she's the receptionist for the Adventurers Guild. She gives us rewards for leveling up, and very importantly, once we hit level 12, she'll issue us with daily commissions, which give us a lot of rewards. And they're called daily commissions because they can be repeated every day. Yeah, so that's about it. Oh, and also you can do expeditions, if I'm not wrong, at level 14 or level 16. I'll clarify. And then the second important NPC is actually Wagner, the blacksmith. So he's the guy that lets us craft weapons, weapon EXP materials, and then later on in the game, we'll be able to craft gadgets that will help us with our journey. Okay, so we'll cover more of crafting in later episodes, because the resources used to craft, some of them are rare. For example, the weapon billets, when you want to craft a claymore, for example, they are quite rare, so we won't we won't want to waste our resources on like a rookie mistake before AR 20 something, before you get the hang of the game basically. So apart from these two NPCs, we can just kind of ignore the rest of Mondstadt, apart from the ones involved in quests, of course. Yep. Okay, so the next part, after unlocking the waypoints, we will then complete all the quests that are based in Mondstadt. So the city itself, will just complete all the quests in there, and then we'll proceed to do the dungeons that unlock us the various starting characters. So like we'll clear one for Amber, one for Lisa, and one for Kaya. Alright, so I won't cover the dungeon details itself. I'll leave the fun for you guys, and then I'll jump right to expanding our open world for future exploration. So by now you have probably realized that some parts of the map are locked. So to unlock these areas, right, you actually have to find the relevant statue of the seven, and then you have to unlock it. So actually unlocking the statue of the seven can be quite tricky sometimes. So some statues of the sevens are actually locked behind a boss or something. So you might have to level your characters. So I'll just put it up on the screen. This is how you like level the characters. Don't worry about the materials over here, because these materials, they are like peanuts when you come to the late game. So they won't matter in like 2 weeks or so. Alright, and at this point in time, you might have noticed that there's also an artifact slot. So apart from your level, your weapons, there's also artifact. So for now, don't worry too much about artifact sets, artifact stats, and etc. Just go ahead and slap on artifacts to your characters that you use in your main party. So for me, I just slapped on any 5 artifacts just so that my characters are not like naked, you know. We'll definitely cover more on artifacts in the next episode, so don't worry. Next part of the video, I'll show you guys that once you unlock each statue of the seven, you actually unlock the area of the map. It will reveal itself. So each of these locked regions, right, once you unlock them, you realize that there's a few waypoints you can unlock. So you want to do that ASAP. You want to unlock most of the teleport points that you can, with the exception of Dragon Spine one yet, and the what's that called? Storm Terror. So Storm Terror is actually just beside is that region that you see that you can't go through. If you try and get to that area, right, it will just be blocked by some wind barrier. It's locked behind a story that you unlock at AR 18 if I'm not wrong. Yeah. So back to the point, why we're unlocking teleport waypoints and statues is also because of the EXP that we get. So it helps us actually achieve our goal of getting to AR 12 for this video. And then it also makes future world exploration easier for us. So when we want to get to certain areas, we can just teleport instead of having to run there. So that's pretty basic. Hope you guys can catch up so far. Alright, so this point on world exploration actually brings me to my second point of collecting Anemoculi. So at the start of the video, I told you guys one of the goals in this video, we want to collect Anemoculi. Since we are this statue, right, let's just explain what Anemoculi are. So they're just this collectible large orbs that show up as stars on our map once we get close to them. But for now, I would recommend that everyone we pick up, right, if we do, we keep a note by placing a marker on the map, and because there's a total of 58 if I'm not wrong on the map. So there's if you end up struggling to find all of them, right, or you're not so interested in the fun of exploring these like cheekily hidden collectibles, there's actually an official Teyvat map made by MiHoYo themselves. It's official, so it's legal, don't worry. It seems like it's cheating, but it's legal. So they revealed the Anemoculi locations. I'll just pop it up on the screen. So this is just one of the many functions of this interactive tool, but for the purpose of today, because I don't want to overload you guys with too much information, right? So we'll just use this tool, this Anemoculi finder tool, and then we will use it to help us find some of the Anemoculi that we need. So we are restricting ourselves to this part of the map first because the Storm Terror is locked and Dragon Spine, I am not sure whether it's locked or unlocked, but I would strongly recommend against going to Dragon Spine because there's some mechanics in there that are a bit advanced, a bit high level, so we wouldn't want to get into there yet. Okay, so once you're done collecting all the Anemoculi, whether it's by normal world exploration, you manually running around the place, or whether it's by the interactive map, I leave it up to you guys. But once you're done collecting, I think I collected about 20 something, so it's about half of the available Anemoculi. So that will be good enough for now, and we'll come back to collecting Anemoculi on a later note. Okay, so once you are done going around the map, collecting enough Anemoculi, you will realize that you gain a lot of stamina when you upgrade the statue. and also a lot of eventual EXP and Primo Gems. So for Primo Gems, I think we won't touch Primo Gems for now because they are premium currency and you don't want to be wasting them. So just leave your Primo Gems, don't do anything that will spend your Primo Gems. So we'll just keep things simple. Limit your day 1 to world exploration and spending your resin, get to AR 12. Upgrading the statue of 7 gives you enough EXP to get to I think level 10 or 11, and then you just top up the remainder by completing the rest of the quests. So you realize you have like some of these world quests, maybe not the Archon quest, maybe some of the Archon quests are still locked behind certain parts. So all you have to do is just do all those quests that you can do so far, get yourself to level 12, come back, and then you can talk to Catherine. So she will actually issue us with daily commissions. So from this day, from this point onwards, right, every day when we come back to Catherine, there will always be a set of daily commissions for us to do. A set of 4 daily commissions for us to do. Once we are done with these 4 commissions, we will come back right back to Catherine, and she will give us some rewards. Next up, we will start to spend some of our resin. So we can store a maximum of 160 resin, and as for now, we only have the ley lines to do. So I'm doing one of the ley lines in this clip over here. So it's basically just always the same. You just have to fight a bunch of monsters. The monsters do change from time to time, but basically you just have to kill all of these monsters. You might have to once again level up your characters before you challenge them, and then you just clear them out. Okay, so once you're done clearing out the last of the mobs, we will actually go ahead and pick up all those drops. So they will do drop like this kind of stuff. They'll be useful in the future, so it is a good habit to start picking up every time you kill something. And after you're done picking up everything, you can go ahead and touch the Leyline Blossom, and this will actually give us the character ascension EXP. We will then repeat this process until we've spent all our resin. Alright, the next part of this video will actually be on tips and tricks. So the reason why I didn't want to put it together with the rest of the stuff is because I don't want to confuse you guys. I want you guys to understand what is necessary and what is a bonus. But with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. Alright, so for tip number 1, I'm sure you guys have been wondering how do I increase my damage quickly without expending too much resources. So in the early game, you don't want to expend too much resources because you don't know whether the resources you'll be expending will it funnel into good results. Will you be using this character in the future? Will this resource become scarce in the future, etc. So my advice to you guys is to invest heavily in one character that you like playing. So for example, if you like playing Amber because she's an archer, you can invest in her. If you like Lisa, you can invest in her because she's using a book. If you like main character, you can also invest in her. But for me, I chose to invest in Kaya. Alright, so what does this investment thing mean? So it means that I ascend Kaya to 1 star and I level him up to the best of my ability. So I actually have the resources to level him up to level 40. So I'll just go ahead and do that to show you guys that, you know, I'm invested in this Kaya. So I'll just go ahead, level him up. Alright, so once you've done that, you realize that his attack stat increases quite a lot. So he was at 100 plus. Now that I level him by 20 levels, it increased to 300 plus. So how did I do that? Other than investing in the levels, I also equipped him with a weapon. A good starting point will be Prototype Ranker because it's free to play. It's free basically. You get it when you reach adventure level 10 if I'm not wrong. Next thing you want to do is to invest in artifacts. So these artifacts, generally speaking, the ones you want are crit rate, crit damage, and attack. So what I did was I put my best artifacts onto Kaya, and as you can see, even though I never level up the substat level, he can still get a 18% attack bonus and a 12% crit rate, which crit is a very it's a little bit complex, so we'll leave it for another time when we get more advanced. But in the early game, you want to be focusing more on attack, so just keep that in mind. So attack crit is good to have, but you can just focus on attack. If you really like the character, I would recommend you to increase their combat talent level as well. But as for now, this is all we can do for Kaya, and that's the maximum damage that he can output for now. I think some of you might have guessed it, but the next tip is actually related to reactions. So the way you increase your damage will be to apply the correct elements in the correct order as well. So I'll just use vaporize to show you guys what I mean. But there's also other kinds of reactions. So for vaporize, you want to either put the hydro first, then you put the pyro. So my Xiangling's damage is actually 249. But if I apply hydro and then I put a guava, it's actually increased. So 218 and 249, that's the difference. So now I do the reverse, I do Barbara. As you can see, my Barbara does 159 with vaporize, sometimes even 200. But without that, it's just 50 something, 70 something. Okay guys, so for the third and final tip for combat, I actually have a very interesting tip for you guys. So I wouldn't recommend you guys to challenge any of the bosses yet, because they can be quite difficult, and also they tend to be higher level. So this Cryo Registine here is level 36. So if you don't have characters or you don't want to invest in characters to level 40, chances are you can't take this down. So, and currently the character that I have leveled to level 40 is actually Kaya, which is not good against the Cryo Registine, because both of them are cryo and they resist the Registine will resist Kaya's attacks. So actually this level on top of the head, so this Cryo Registine being level 36, it actually shows up as green. So green enemies are one grade higher than white enemies. Alright, so just now we saw green colored level name. So now we'll take a look at the white colored level name. So these white colored level names, they actually mean that their character is actually over leveled compared to them, and your character will do bonus damage to them. So in the early game, you wouldn't want to challenge anything that is above green, and you try and challenge only characters that are white if you are struggling, because you actually deal bonus damage to them. So like these enemies, I'll deal much more damage than my other green color enemies. So I don't actually have any green color enemies now, because I've leveled my Kaya to level 40 and it's considered pretty advanced for now. So I advise you guys to do the same, just level one character to level 40 and you'll really feel the difference. Alright, so now we come to world exploration tips. So for the first tip, it can be quite intuitive. So from where I'm standing now, I'm looking at the teleport waypoint. So you would think that the fastest route for me to get to the waypoint reading from this map will be just cut across here and just go to the teleport waypoint. But however, the way to read this map is that because this area is lighter green, it means that this area is actually on higher ground, meaning that I have a cliff ahead of me. So to get to this teleport waypoint, I will have to go one round around it. So this is what it looks like. So it is actually really high up, all the way up there. So climbing this and then going over it is definitely slower than me running around it and then getting to the teleport waypoint. Okay, let's move on to the next tip. So if you happen to see any shining crystal ores in your map, make sure you harvest them, because you can exchange them for weapon EXP materials. So the fastest way to break them is to do plunging attacks like what I'm doing here. Just repeat 3 times and you will break them. So after breaking them, you can go to Wagner, similar to in the tutorial, but this all actually gives a lot more EXP than just those iron chunks that you get at the start. Alright, the next exploration tip is actually about finding chests. So this works in both the open world and in domains. So we'll touch on the open world first. So when we are examining our surroundings, what we want to do when we just let's say we just jump down from this mountain and we see this patch over here, so it's a bit fishy. So what we want to do is check all the corners, make sure that there's nothing below there, and then you check all the corners, and then voila, what do you know? You find a chest hidden at the corner. So Nihoyo actually likes to do these kind of things. So just keep an eye out for the corners, because there's actually a lot of chests hidden around the map. So this chest gives you a lot of good rewards if you can find them. So it's just a little tidbit for exploring the world. Okay, and the next tip is actually, so when you don't have a healer in your team, for example, none of these characters actually do any healing in my team. So when my character actually gets low, like for example my Amber here, she's down to about less than half HP, what you can do is revisit these statues, stand on them, you don't have to talk to the statue, just stand over here, and you can get back to HP for your entire party. So as you can see, my HP is starting to regenerate. So one thing you can do to configure this, I would really recommend this, is to go into Statue's Blessing, and then for auto recover when nearby, you just set it to 100, so that when you get, every time you get to a statue, you can see my health over here, it just goes up to full. So this works when your character takes a lot of damage, you don't have a healer, you don't want to eat food, you can always come back to a statue. Okay, you just have to keep in mind that the statue has a limited amount of HP it can restore. So for now, I've already used 3000 plus of it. It's upon 15,000, so it can only restore 15,000 HP. So this will recharge over time. So as long as you are not constantly dying and coming back to statue, you should be fine. This restoration power actually, it goes up pretty fast, so don't worry about it too much. Alright, so for the final tip for world exploration and also for this video, we have character height. So character height is actually something that is less known, and I actually didn't know about this until quite late into the game, when I was like, I think AR 30, then I knew about this difference in character height and what it means. So I've always known that, you know, Kaya is a tall guy, and then when you compare with someone like Amber, you can clearly see that Amber is shorter than Kaya. But I didn't know that this translated into movement speed. So over here is a good place for us to compare the speed and distance that a tall character versus a short character can give you. So starting from here, let me just align him to the... Okay, so now Kaya is aligned to this thing. Look how far he goes. So he makes it to here, this point over here. Almost to that line over there. So let me just compare it with Amber. Okay, so over here, right? Just now Kaya started all the way at the front, so let's see how far Amber can sprint. So Amber actually doesn't quite make it. She's actually 4 tiles away. So that's the difference between a tall and a short character. However, it's to be noted that tall characters, right, they actually for tall male characters, I should say, due to their swimming animation, right, they actually swim slower than female characters. So the fastest character for swimming is actually the tall female character, such as Lisa. So as you can see, the swimming animation, for some reason, the tall female characters have a faster swimming animation than tall male characters. Alright, that's it for all the serious stuff in this video. Stick around for the next part where I do my 20 wishes. Alright, and now we have come to the last part of this video. So I'll actually be doing a few summons. So I still have the beginner summons, haven't done. So I have 22 wishes right now. So I'll just summon these novice wishes and maybe a couple of standard wishes. Hopefully I get something good. And yeah, let's go. Hope for the best. So actually all these 3-star and 4-star weapons and characters that you get. Oh wow, Chongyin. That's nice. Okay. Oh wow, another one, official. Okay, that's good, that's good. Wow. Oh my god, 3 in a row. Holy cow. Wait, are the beginner wishes supposed to be that good? Noel, oh, okay. I'm pretty sure that's a guarantee, but alright. Okay, so yeah, that was really lucky. I got four-star units. All four of them are pretty okay. Okay, maybe not Noel, but yeah. Alright, so yeah, as I was saying, so these 3-star weapons, some of them are really good. Especially those with attack crit stats. Generally, they are quite good. So with that, let's move on to the next 10 pools. Hope for the best. Come on. Alright, no 5-star, but let's hope for more 4-star units. Let's just skip through all these 3-star weapons. Oh wow, another fish show, okay. We got a repeat fish show. Okay, this time not so lucky. Only got one fish show. Alright, that's it for my beginner wishes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Like, comment, subscribe.